Born in Potchefstroom in 1995, Brad's a fine bet to bring glory to SA in MotoGP racing. Simba was all smiles at meeting Bradical, a nickname earned in his rookie year.
Brad Binder's the first South African in 27 years to finish on the podium twice at Moto3 Championships. This 19-year-old is making us so proud. And I'm here at Swartkops Race in Pretoria to meet the adrenaline junkie himself. Brad! Look at this guy showing off. How you doing, brother?
Not too bad yourself.
Good, man. I'll let you take it off.
Man, it's a beautiful ride.
But now this track is rather sentimental to you. You won your first race here when you were about 8 years old, right?
I've been racing around here since I can remember, basically. So, yeah, this was the first track I ever came to when I started karting.
Now you're living in Spain. Why did you decide to make that move?
I decided to base myself in Spain for the last 3 years, just so I have some place to go back to in between races, you know, because with such a tight schedule, South Africa is just a little bit too far to come back every week.
So, dude, what bike is this?
Unfortunately, I obviously can't have my World Championship bike here, but this is a bike I use for training. What it is it's basically just a motocross bike that we have worked on suspension a little bit and put slick tires in.
And how hard do you get in the suit?
Boiling.
I can imagine. How much does mental fitness come into this?
The problem is you got to train hard. Otherwise, as soon as you start getting tired, you start to lose focus. Yeah. And when you lose focus, that's when you tend to get hurt. So you need to train quite hard for this, actually. You don't expect it, though.
Brad's uncanny ability to memorize tracks, turns, lines and apexes has commentators likening him to American MotoGP champion Ben Spies. After his recent fifth-place finish on the Argentinian leg of this season, more podium finishes are inevitable.
You're killing it out there, man.
I am enjoying it.
So what's a typical week like you for training?
A typical week would be pretty much what we did today, actually. I mean, I'd wake up 8 o'clock in the morning, have a bit of breakfast and head to the track.
Any other exercises you do?
I do a lot of cycling, running, swimming, because I basically have to just keep my weight down. Because if I get too heavy, it's bad for me as a racer because your bike goes a lot slower down the straight. At the end of the day, it benefits me to stay as light as possible.
Then your diet must obviously be very important.
Yeah, I'm on quite a strict eating plan, but that takes place when I'm back in Spain. But here in South Africa, I mess around a bit too much.
Now, being out of the country like you are, you must have a great support structure.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, my parents have obviously been there from day one. The amount of support I have in South Africa in general is incredible.
In Europe, Brad shares a house with his younger brother Darren, who entered the MotoGP rookies this year. Their parents, Trevor and Sharon Binder, are tickled to know Darren now loves Brad's home cooking.
Being as big a support structure, you guys have had to make some major sacrifices. You've had to live with them in Spain.
We have, but that's what you do for your children. And we follow them around. Wherever they need to go, we go with them.
He left when he was quite young. How did he go about finishing his matric?
With all the traveling, you had to go online and do it online, you know, and it's called homeschooling, and that's how we basically did it. But I can show you a couple of photos that we've taken over the years. Here's a photo of the first race that Brad ever won, and I think he was 5 or 6 years old at that time. We then started karting, and then at the age of 9, Brad became national champion in the cadet class. Right after that, he took a year off, and his brother became champion in the cadet class as well. So both the boys have been doing it. And then the following year, we started racing on motorcycles.
Now, being a mom and looking at these pictures, were there ever any moments where you were absolutely terrified?
Yes, as a mother, it is rather scary. But I sit at the track and then I just watch the race and hope for the best.
You must be really proud when you see him step onto international podiums.
It's an unbelievable feeling. And as soon as he crosses the line, then you have to run all the way and get to the pit area, you know, to watch him go up onto the podium. It's really a big moment.
Exciting.
Yeah.
The family home is stacked with trophies won by both Brad and, hot on his heels, the ever-improving 17-year-old Darren. Any more wins and their parents will have to move house.
Here are all my main trophies. These are the ones that actually mean something to me.
Which are your highlights out of all of these?
Let's start off with this. This was these two boots were my first international podium in a World Championship race. Yeah, it's pretty different to say the least. So
Oh, that is.
This one probably means the most to me out of all of them. My first MotoGP World Championship podium.
Wow.
Yeah, I came in second position in Saxonry.
That is special, man.
Yeah, I was the first South African in 27 years to get a podium.
Since you've been involved in the international arena, what's been your biggest lesson and your biggest challenge?
The biggest lesson has definitely been that nothing happens overnight. I arrived there expecting to do so well, and the competition was incredible. It took me a couple of years, but eventually you just got to work at it, you know. The biggest struggle I've had has definitely been to just adapt my whole lifestyle to living in Spain, not seeing my friends, you know, just living the European lifestyle.
Hearing Brad's a natural at water skiing and surfing,
2, 1, go!
Simba challenged him to a swim-off.
I couldn't see the wall. How close is that? Nice work, bud. But I do tell me, is swimming part of your training as well?
Yeah, definitely. I do quite a lot of swimming just to keep general fitness, to be honest.
But you must have some really cool perks to this gig though, right?
You know, I tell people all the time, you know, my life is a holiday.
Yeah?
I get to travel the world, do what I love. I can't think of anything better.
What is your long-term goal?
Oh, well, a multi-time world champion, obviously. Someone like Valentino Rossi, for instance. You know, at the end of the day, that's what I'm working towards. One day I want to be the best in the world.
Well, I'm sure you will get there. You may be proud, and I'm sure you've made some people at home very proud. But listen, last one to the Wolves' rotten egg.